How much do you need to retire comfortably on dividend income? Today, I'll show you a clear, step-by-step process to calculate your own dividend retirement goal so you can invest with confidence and plan your financial future. Many investors dream of living off dividends, but most people don't know how to figure out the exact portfolio size they need. If you guess too high, you might feel overwhelmed and give up. Guess too low, and you could run out of money in retirement. In this video, I'll break down the math into simple steps, no jargon, no hype, and walk you through real examples so you can find your own number. By the end, you'll have a roadmap to help guide your dividend investing journey. Before we start, remember this is not financial advice. Everyone's situation is unique, so use this information as a starting point for your own planning. Let's begin with the big question. How much monthly income do you want or need from your dividends in retirement? Start by estimating your desired monthly income. For example, maybe you want $3,000 per month to cover your essential expenses, housing, food, utilities, and a little extra for travel or hobbies. Multiply that by 12 months to get your annual dividend income goal. In this case, $3,000 times 12 equals $36,000 per year. Now, the next step is to figure out how big your portfolio needs to be to generate that amount. This is where dividend yield comes in. Dividend yield is a simple concept. It's the percentage of a company's share price that it pays out as dividends each year. For example, if a stock is priced at $100 and pays $4 in annual dividends, the yield is 4%. Think of dividend yield as the interest rate your investments pay you in cash. However, higher yields aren't always better. Some high-yield companies are riskier or might cut their dividends in the future. For a balanced, diversified dividend portfolio, a reasonable average yield might be around 3 to 4%. This accounts for a mix of reliable companies, some with higher yields and some with lower, but growing dividends. Let's use 4% as an example. To find the portfolio size you need, divide your annual dividend goal by your target yield. So, $36,000 divided by 0.04 equals $900,000. That means, with a $900,000 portfolio invested at an average 4% yield, you could expect about $36,000 per year in dividends. If you prefer a more conservative yield, say 3%, the required portfolio would be larger. $36,000 divided by 0.03 equals $1.2 million. Now, maybe your number feels big or even intimidating. But remember, this is just a starting point. If you're younger, you have time to grow your investments. If you have other sources of income, like Social Security, a pension, or rental income, you may need less from dividends. Let's walk through a second example. Suppose you only need $2,000 per month from dividends because other sources cover the rest. That's $24,000 per year. Using a 4% yield, $24,000 divided by 0.04 equals $600,000. With a 3% yield, it's $800,000. Now let's talk about two important concepts: payout ratio and diversification. These will help you build a sustainable dividend portfolio. First, payout ratio. The payout ratio is the percentage of a company's earnings paid out as dividends. For example, if a company earns $2 per share but pays out $1 in annual dividends, the payout ratio is 50%. Why does this matter? Companies with very high payout ratios, say above 80 or 90%, may not have enough profits left to reinvest in their business. That could put their dividend at risk if earnings fall. Generally, a payout ratio between 40 and 60% is considered healthy for most companies. It suggests the dividend is likely to be sustainable. Second, diversification. This means not putting all your eggs in one basket. Even the most reliable dividend stocks can face problems. Think of major banks during financial crises, or oil companies during an energy slump. Aim to spread your investments across different sectors, like utilities, healthcare, consumer goods, technology, and financials. You can do this by picking individual stocks, or by investing in dividend-focused exchange-traded funds, known as ETFs. Diversification helps protect your portfolio from unexpected shocks, so your dividend income is more reliable over time. Let's briefly recap the steps to calculate your personalized dividend retirement goal. Step 1. Decide how much annual income you want from dividends. Step 2. Choose a reasonable average dividend yield for your portfolio, usually between 3 and 4% for a balanced approach. Step 3. Divide your annual income goal by your chosen yield to find your target portfolio size. Step 4. When selecting stocks or funds, check the payout ratios to make sure the dividends are sustainable. Step 5. Diversify across different companies and sectors to reduce your risk. Now, let's address a few common questions. What if dividend yields change in the future? Yields can fluctuate as stock prices and dividend payments change. That's why it's important to review your portfolio at least once a year and make adjustments as needed. What about taxes? Depending on where you live, dividend income may be taxed differently from other income. Make sure you understand your local tax rules and consider using tax-advantaged accounts when possible. Should you reinvest dividends or take the cash? While you're still saving, reinvesting dividends can help grow your portfolio faster. In retirement, you might switch to taking the cash as income. What if you can't reach your target number? Remember, every dollar you invest adds up. Even if you don't hit your original goal, any amount of dividend income can help cover your expenses and provide more financial security. Finally, remember that the numbers you calculate today are just a guide. Your needs and priorities may change over time. The most important thing is to get started, save and invest consistently, and adjust your plan as your life evolves. If you found this video helpful, consider liking and subscribing for more clear, practical tips on dividend investing. If you have a question or want to share your own dividend retirement goal, drop a comment below. I read everyone. Thanks for watching, and I wish you success on your investing journey.